Resolving inner conflicts is way easier than you think. Most of the time, our inner conflicts are just unconscious thoughts and programs that we have running in our mind. So in this video, I'm going to go over a common conflict that a lot of people in business have and how you can easily resolve that. And you can use the same process for any conflict. My name is Alex Morgan, and I help you align your actions, your beliefs, your dreams, and your thinking because you deserve to have success, and it's here, so you might as well be ready for it. So how do you know you really have a conflict? Many people, they use language. So if you're around people and you hear them saying something like, well, on one hand, I feel this way, and on the other hand, I feel this way, or sometimes I want to do this, and sometimes I want to do that. I'm really not sure what I want to do. Part of the time I want to do this, and the other part of the time I want to do this. So if you catch yourself saying these things, or you hear other people saying these things, then you can be pretty sure that they have some sort of internal conflict because they're not making a decision. They're not necessarily deciding. So lots of people, these inner conflicts, you want to really deal with them, and you can easily do that with your mind through some simple questions. And all you have to do is recognize these internal conflicts and what you're actually conflicted about. The problem with internal conflicts is many people, then they're not making decisions. They're actually never deciding. They're thinking about what they're doing, but then they're thinking about it all the time, about part of the time what they feel the other part of the time, and nothing actually gets completed. It's almost like they start thinking about it and don't finish it. So if you have trouble finishing things, this might be for you. Or even if you have trouble starting things because you're so conflicted you don't even start things, then you really want to tune into this. And one of the conflicts that people really wrestle with, it's actually quite funny if you think about it, it's freedom and responsibility. Because a lot of people, when they go into business, or even people that are working and they're really flourishing in their career and they get a promotion, so we can relate it to that as well. So let's say that you just got a big promotion or you're starting your own business, and all of a sudden you think, wow, because of the money I'm going to make, because of how I feel and what I'm going to be in charge of, this is going to give me so much more freedom. So this is what someone initially thinks. Then all of a sudden, they have all this freedom and they're doing all these things. And then after a while, they think, wow, I have so much freedom. However, this new business or this new promotion, it's given me so much responsibility. So then they're actually worried about how much responsibility they have to achieve freedom. If you think about it, though, if you're not actually taking responsibility for things like your career, your business, and even more importantly, if you're not taking responsibility for things like your beliefs, the words that you use, how you communicate with others, how you think, if you're not taking responsibility and instead you're pointing the finger out others outside of yourself, or you're kind of playing the victim, then how are you ever taking responsibility? And if you don't take responsibility and you're always blaming things on other people, then do you truly have freedom? I don't think you do. So this is a funny conflict when you kind of break it down, that in order to actually have freedom, you need to have some level of responsibility, meaning you need to take responsibility. So we have freedom and responsibility. So the easiest way to get rid of any inner conflict is eventually to realize unconsciously that each of these things have the same highest purpose, or they have the same positive intention if you get them away from the freedom and the responsibility. So what you can think about is freedom, and you can ask yourself, what is the purpose of freedom? Maybe it's safety. Then you can ask, what is the purpose of safety? Maybe it's security. What is the purpose of security? And maybe you get to love or something like this. So you keep getting words and you keep going. It's almost like having a negotiation. So you're negotiating between these two different things to show them, hey, look, You have common ground. Both of these can work towards the same thing, so you don't have to feel conflicted anymore. So freedom, for what purpose? Then another word, for what purpose? Then once you get to a high enough, really ambiguous, vague word that you think you don't really need to go any further on, then you can go over to the responsibility. Responsibility, for what purpose? And you keep going on that one too until you get to the same word. And then you realize that freedom, responsibility, they actually want the same thing. So this is really how you can resolve any inner conflict. This is just one example, freedom and responsibility. Many people, with all of our things that limit us, many people, they're running many programs in their mind that are actually an inner conflict, or it's something that they believe part of the time. It's not a full-time limiting belief. It's something they believe part of the time. So if you ever catch yourself thinking, I'm doing that again. I believe that part of the time. On one hand, I think this. On the other hand, I think this. Part of the time, I believe this. Part of the time, I want that. These are all inner conflicts. So you need to stop and think, what are the conflicts? What are the things that are different, like freedom and responsibility? And then you need to ask yourself and find out, what is it? What do these things have in common that actually show that you can work together and integrate these things so you can achieve something that is actually worthwhile and beneficial for you? Because think about it, freedom and responsibility. Wouldn't you actually want to have those things? I would, because I love freedom, and responsibility, I think, is one of the first things that you need to have in order to achieve success. It's one of the first things I teach in my trainings, because if you don't have responsibility, and you're not taking responsibility for your actions, your beliefs, your dreams, your thinking, just like I say at the start of the video, if you're not taking responsibility for those things and you're blaming everything else, or you're playing the victim, you're never going to truly have freedom. And freedom, ask yourself, what does freedom mean to you? I may know what it means for me. However, think about what that means for you. So these are things that you actually want. However, you're not getting either of them because there's inner conflict amongst them. So anytime you have an inner conflict, think you're not actually getting what you want part of the time, really any of the time, because you're actually not focusing on what you want. You're running a program in your mind that isn't beneficial for you. So if you do have a big inner conflict that you want to get rid of, there's some that people have had for years and years and years. I can definitely help you with that. Reach out to me. All my information will be in the description of the video. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you haven't already, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate all the support I've been getting lately. Comment below what you think you may have an inner conflict for, and we can see how we can help each other. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next video.